Evening, everybody. IC here. Let's talk about a couple of things. First off, I'm 65, so I grew up in the 60s, 70s, back when everybody used to smoke a little herb every now and then. You would call it marijuana, a joint, doob, whatever you want to call it. Back then, you catch a little bit of a buzz, but that was it. And also in the 70s, the marijuana was not what they call addicting. Even though it was considered a gateway drug, it really wasn't addicting. You could stop using it at any time if you had the willpower. And so that's what it comes down to, willpower back then. The THC content, which is tetrahydrocannabinol, was approximately 2% in the weed back then. Now, today, with all the enhanced THC gummies and the weed they're selling, it's almost a 95% increase in the THC amount. So that right there is a problem. You have reports, recent ones that I read a couple months ago, of people that started taking the marijuana on a regular basis, a daily basis. And this one incident that I read, a young man didn't get his daily portion of weed for the day, and he proceeded to start beating people up as an outlet for the frustration that was going on within his brain. So, that right there shows that the failure to continue to take a drug makes a person violent. Now let's look at the other spectrum in regards to this. The recent decision of a judge out in California. Now mind you, the jury convicted this young woman and wanted her to serve a lot of time in prison. The judge overrode the jury's decision, and this woman stabbed her boyfriend 108 times while she was high on weed, marijuana, whatever you want to call it. 108 times she stabbed her boyfriend, and she got probation and for 3 years and community service. That tells me two things, and you can take it or leave it. That's your choice. The first is that a lot of these liberal judges who probably grew up smoking weed don't care about the after effects of it. So they're pretty much giving these people a free ride whenever they break the law. This one here is committed murder and got off pretty much scot-free. So what kind of a message does that send to the other people out there that are doing, marijuana and eating those CBD gummies and all that other junk? And if they become violent, they have a precedent that they can go on now saying, well, she stabbed the guy 108 times. I only stabbed the guy once. I should get, community service for a week and that's it, This judge set a precedent for all kinds of bad things to happen to people because of marijuana. All right, so enough said on the marijuana aspect. Now let's talk about so-called immigrants. They're actually illegal aliens, but the Democrats like to refer to them as immigrants. They actually got all the news media to refer to them as immigrants, or I should say migrants. But in reality, they're illegal aliens. They're not wanted here. They were never invited here. They broke the law getting here. And our current administration is actually attacking the state of Texas for trying to protect the United States from this massive influx of illegals. Well, let's put it where, in blunt terms. You come here illegally, you are a criminal. You're not a migrant. You're not seeking asylum. You are a criminal. You go to jail. Or you get placed on a bus, sent to a plane, and shipped right back to South America. Actually, I'd like to see him take some of the Navy amphibs, which I was on one. We carried 1,500 troops, and I was on an LPH. But the LHAs, the newer ones, the Nassau and the Peleliu and that, they carry like 4,000 troops. That's 4,000 beds that you could stick a migrant in an illegal in, whatever you want to call, and ship their happy butts back to South America. That's what I would recommend. I don't see it happening, but it's more cost effective that way, especially since you're going to have armed guards preventing them from going anywhere except for the galley for food and back to their rack to go to sleep. So, whatever. Now, let's see what else we got going on. Oh, yeah. We have problems within Washington, D.C. when it comes to President Biden. The Democrats are talking that maybe he should go back into his hide in the basement mode and let them control the elections. Well, let's put it this way. I noticed with those voting machines here in New York State that if you take your vote after you fill it out and you insert it this way, which is how it's supposed to go, to be scanned and tabulated, if it doesn't go through, the helper comes in and sticks it in this way, which means your vote was totally negated. So we have to make sure that no longer happens anymore. Every person's vote should count, and if the Republicans are smart, they will actually put extra people on all the polling places and all the ballot counting places around the country for this upcoming presidential election, up to and including wearing cameras. You have to record what's going on within the locations that they are counting the ballots, because I personally don't want to see, like I saw in video last time, when after the Republican monitors left, there were still a few Democrats there, and then they lifted up the tablecloth and there were bins full of votes that they turned around and tabulated, and you don't know who they were actually voting for, but you suspect it was for Biden. So you have to stay until the last ballot is counted, the numbers are tabulated, and everybody walks out at the same time. That's the only way you're going to get it, because it's getting ridiculous hearing Democrats talk about, well, for example, New Hampshire. They're saying Biden won New Hampshire. He didn't even campaign in New Hampshire. You had two other Democrats that were running against him, but everybody said he maxed out, what was it, 65, 75% with a write-in? I would like to see those ballots personally. I don't trust word of mouth anymore, not coming from Democrats. I hate to say that. I have friends that are Democrats, but I hate to say that. I don't trust the word of mouth. I want to see it with my own two eyes, the very last count, the very last ballot counted, tabulated. Because this is what's going to happen if we do not ensure that this is an honest election. We definitely will become Communist China's puppet. Biden is in the tank for them. Hunter Biden's in the tank for them. I don't know if Kamala Harris is in the tank for them. But you got all this money going to Ukraine, yet the Ukrainian president's wife went out and blew $1 million shopping. If they're that destitute and looking for handouts and needing money for the country, you're not going to spend $1 million shopping. I don't care what you say or do. You're not going to blow $1 million. Too much nefarious activities are going on, and I just don't trust anyone anymore. So keep your eyes open. Watch, record, monitor. Do whatever you can to make sure that this is an honest, legal election this coming November. ICY out.